What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 89, and we start today's episode off by getting some news that Barami is going to depart the club at the end of the season because his contract was up and he is free to discuss deals with other clubs, and I completely forgot all about that. There are quite a few players that have their contracts up at the end of the season, players such as Hamsik and El Kaduri as well, Vargas as well, who have their contracts up at the end of the year, and they can leave on pre-contracts. So, you know, it's not just us that can sort of get the benefits of signing good players for free, it's also other clubs in the game. So Barami's going to leave the club, and I decided I'd quickly act as fast as possible and offer contracts to El Kaduri, Hamsik and Vargas, because two of those three players are first 11 players, so we don't want to see those players leave next year. And also after that we got a transfer offer for Fidlef here, or Fidlef, not sure how you pronounce that, our centre half, 79 overall. Everton want him for 3.4 million, and we say give us 7.5 million, you can take him. And after that, we had a transfer offer for Zabaleta. It was Fiorentina for 1.1 million. And Pablo Zabaleta has been here since we took over. And to be honest, he's on high wages. He's a reserve player. He's 32 years old. I've got no plans to keep him, so he can leave. And also we saw that El Kaduri, Vargas and Hamsik have all accepted those contracts we offered them, which means they will not leave the club come the end of the season on a free agent, which is good news for us. And straight after that, we had a game against Atalanta here in the Serie A. And we decided to simulate it, because again, it's not a really important game, and I feel we'd have the better of them and should win that game with ease. And we did win the game by 3-1. Insigne got 2 and Hamsik got 1, so very good to win the game. And also Zabaleta has been sold to Fiorentina for £1.1 million, and that is perfectly fine with me because we're never really going to use him anyway. So that's perfectly fine with me. And straight after that, we had a transfer offer come in here for Branislav Ivanovic. It was a decent offer, really, you know, for a player that's 32 years old, starting to decrease in stats. Fulham wanted him for £3.2 million, but he is 79 overall. He is our first choice centre-half at the moment, despite being a primary right-back. I play him at centre-half, and yeah, I decided to ask for a counter-offer, and if we get the money, we'll be okay, but otherwise I'm not going to bother. But straight after that, I decided to see if we could sign a new player as well. Walscheid, I don't know how you pronounce these names, I'm so bad at them. We offer Bayer Leverkusen £2 million, because he does have his contract up at the end of the year, so possibly Leverkusen will see sense to sell him instead of letting him go on a free agent. And also we saw that we had a transfer offer for Lukaku. Fulham weren't going to go back in for Ivanovic, which is fine, and a transfer offer did come in for Lukaku. It was £14 million. Arsenal offered that, and to be honest, he's 81 overall, he's only 23 years old, and as I said, Higuain next year is probably going to start to decrease in stats, and I'd just like to replace him with Lukaku. Unless Arsenal give us a really big bid, I'm not going to accept it, because I'm a big fan of Lukaku. I really don't want to see him go. So we ask Arsenal for a ridiculous amount of money, and of course they say no, so that's fine. Like, seriously, unless they were going to give us a lot of money, I wasn't going to accept it, because as I said, I am a big fan of Lukaku, and with Higuain going into his 30s now, he's probably going to look to replace him at the start next year, so there you go. But after that, we saw that we had a transfer offer for one of our 55 overall players. It's for Romano, a CM who we're never going to use, so he can leave. And we also decided, as we only had 82 grand left on a wage budget, we couldn't really sign any more amazing pre-contract deals, so I decided to see if we could get ourselves a couple of loan signings just in case we ever need them. George Green, a CM at Everton, has some really good passing stats, so I wouldn't mind getting him on loan. And also George Di Mesquites, a Millwall scout future star, who we picked up during this season, actually, for our academy. We'd like to take him out on loan, just to have him as a backup goalkeeper. Possibly never use him, but even so, just to have him with us. And also Nyland as well, because our backup goalkeeper is only like 56 overall, so it'd be good to get a decent backup keeper in, and Nyland's never let us down, ever, so we'd like to get Nyland in as well, but I don't see it happening, really. We offer Millwall 240 grand plus Contini, and we'll wait and see what happens there. But to be honest, I didn't really want to buy him anyway, but we'll wait and see what happens. But the very low-rated CM is now gone, and that's fine. Again, he was just deadwood, really. We were never going to use him, so he's gone. And straight after that, we decided to put in some bids for other players as well. But I didn't realise this was actually during transfer deadline day, and I didn't realise I was running out of time. I completely forgot I kept advancing before I did some business. And to be honest, I was making these bids for these players. We didn't have too much money anyway, so if we were going to sign someone, they weren't going to be that great anyway. But to be honest, I realised that we weren't going to have enough time to accept the deals, because when you put in a bid for a player for a transfer on transfer deadline day, it usually takes 2 hours, at least 2 hours before that sort of gets processed, and you can either offer a contract or have to make a new bid. And I realised that as we only had 3 hours to go, even if all of these clubs accepted these bids, we wouldn't have enough time to offer them a contract. So let's just say here, Alberto Massi's club, Turney, accept the bid we put in, and we can offer him a contract. We wouldn't be able to see him accept that contract in time because transfer deadline day would end. You know, we'd only have 1 hour to offer a contract, and that hour basically you can't do any business. So with that in mind, I was offering these bids, and I completely forgot that we had no time whatsoever. So I thought I'd show them anyway, just to show you what players I was thinking of and maybe some targets for next year. But as we only had a couple of hours left on the clock, we wouldn't have enough time to put these bids in and be able to offer a contract and get the player in. So with that in mind, even though we were offering these bids, there was no way we'd ever be able to get hold of these players. But there were some decent players I was looking at, and these definitely some targets for next year. You know, there are some good centre halves in there I was looking at, trying to shift on players like Raul Albiol and see if we could just pick up younger players with, you know, a decent potential, I'd say. But as I said, the business was running, the time was running out. As you saw there, we only had 2 hours to go. So with that in mind, we decided to accept the two loan deals. George Green and also George Di Mesquites, the Scout Future Star goalkeeper we had at Millwall, have both arrived on loan deals, and that is perfectly fine with me. Contini, the original backup goalkeeper here at Napoli, is going to Rangers, and as you saw here, all these bids were unacceptable other than 1 or 2, and you know, we wouldn't have time to basically sign these players, as I said here. For example, Cagliari, however you pronounce that, accepted the bid of 500 grand plus Albiol for Del Fabro. We offer him a contract, but it's not going to matter because we only have 1 hour left on the clock, and this is the point. As soon as we advance, whether that player was going to accept the deal or not, he won't have enough time to sign. So that kind of sucks. It was my fault really for not keeping time and not keeping track of the time, but there you go. Transfer deadline day just ends too quickly on this game. It really does. You don't get enough time to do a lot of business, and it kind of sucks, to be honest. But as you can see here, this is the business we've done. We've only spent £1 million and got £7 million in, so we've made a profit of £6 million, and we're going to be signing players like Hazard and Lucas next year. So I think the business we've done in this January transfer window has been pretty damn amazing. The big moves were Aguero to Bayern for £22.5 million, Eriksen to United for £21 million, and Mangala to Juventus for £21 million as well. So Spurs sold 2 of their very key players there in Eriksen and Aguero, and yeah, that did indeed end transfer deadline day. So despite offering a contract to one of those players, we wouldn't have enough time to sign him. So there you go. But straight after that, we saw that we got manager of the month in the Serie A, and that's kind of cool. And we also sold our reserve goalkeeper Contini to Rangers, but that's fine because we just picked up our Scout Future Star from Millwall on a loan deal, so he'll be on the bench. And yeah, there you go. That ended January. And I've been very happy with the business we've done in January. You know, our first transfer window at the new club, we've signed 2 incredible players on free agents next year, on Hazard and Lucas. We've signed 2 very decent players on free agents next year, young players that can progress in overall in Bardi and Nastasic. We've also signed Fabio for £1 million plus Armero, and he looks like a complete steal. And we've picked up our Scout Future Star, both our Scout Future Stars, George Di Mesquites and Gutierrez on loan deals, and we've also signed George Green, who's got some decent passing stats on a loan deal. So with that in mind, the squad is looking really, really good now, and I'm very happy with the progress we've been making, and it looks very good. You know, there's only 2 players that are under 80 in the first 11. That's our goalkeeper Rafael on 79, and also one of our centre backs Fernandez on 79. Everyone else in the team is 80 and above, so the side is actually really, really good. It is a 4.5-star team, yes, but it's still a pretty damn good squad. And yes, next year we'd have to look at selling some players that quite frankly don't really get in the team very often, and there's quite a lot of 50s and 60s in there which I'd like to get rid of. But other than that, the squad is good. There's a bright future here at Napoli, and to be honest, I know there are quite a few that did want me to stay at Millwall, and I know there's quite a few that didn't want me to leave England and join Napoli, but don't worry about it too much, because in my last career mode, or in my FIFA 13 career mode, I should say, we had a small stint at Napoli. We had a brief stint at AC Milan. A very, very brief stint at AC Milan when we left Liverpool. We were there for 1 year. We transformed Milan from a really sort of aging side to a very dominant young side in just 1 year. And I think that's what I'd like to do with Napoli. You know, even if we're here for just 1 year, you know, and leave next year during the January transfer window in 2018, if we just set Napoli up with some young players and leave them and let them get on with it for the foreseeable future, I'll be very happy with that, and I think that's something I would like to do, you know. So, you know, I wouldn't mind staying here at Napoli for the rest of the series, or, you know, for another few years. But if you guys do want me to leave next year and I offer for a job and they come back in for us, then I'll be perfectly happy leaving, knowing that we've set Napoli up for the future. So, like I said, we have players next year coming in like Bardi and Nastasic, Lucas, Hazard, young, talented players coming in and progressing Napoli for the future. You know, being with Napoli for the future and turning them into a very good side for the foreseeable future. I would be perfectly happy leaving Napoli once we've done that work, because that's what we did with AC Milan back in my FIFA 13 career mode. And that career mode, like, I don't mean to sound very boastful and and whatnot, but if anyone watched that, it was really entertaining, and I think every single club had a different feel, and that was what the feel was with AC Milan. We came in, we transformed the club in 1 year, and we set them up for the future, and I'd like to do that with Napoli as well. I'd like to be here for a year, sign some good young players like we've already been doing, and then leave them to it, you know. So that's what we might do. So if you're not enjoying Napoli straight away, and you know, you're excited for us, you know, to leave, basically, don't worry. If we do leave very soon, you know, it is a possibility. You know, it's not like we're going to be here for the rest of the series. But anyway, we took on Fiorentina here in this game. In the Coppa Italia semi-final first leg, and again, as it's not in our objective, we did rest quite a lot of players. However, there were still a few first team players out there, and in the 73rd minute, a great chance for us to take the lead. Insigne and Lukaku play a lovely 1-2. The ball comes into Jose Callejon, and the former Real Madrid player makes it 1-0 to us. So just 17 minutes to go, we take the lead here against Fiorentina. A really, really, really good goal there. There's a nice little 1-2 between Insigne and Lukaku, and a good finish by Jose Callejon. So 1-0 away from home. Really, really good here. But as the game was being closed on the 86th minute, Sandro collects the ball for Fiorentina, finds Cuadrado down the right hand side, crosses the ball in, and there's Giuseppe Rossi to score a late equaliser for the second time already since joining Napoli. We've only been here for a few weeks. We took on Fiorentina twice, and twice we conceded a late goal. So that absolutely sucks. A late equaliser, I should say. That really does suck. But we've got the second leg at the Stadio San Paolo, and hopefully we'll be able to win that and get through to the final of the Coppa Italia, because winning the trophy in our first season at Napoli would be really, really nice. So 1-1 the final score, and we will try and do the business at home in the semi-final second leg. But as always, guys, big thank you for watching today's video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. The last thing you'll see is some World Cup qualifiers with Chile against Uruguay and Brazil, which we won and drew respectively. So thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. It only takes a second to click that like button. It really does help my channel out, and I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode tomorrow afternoon.